Two brilliant football semi-finals at the weekend. Kilcoo are through to All-Ireland. They beat Ballyboden 2-8 to 11 points, 3-point win. And Corofin, I do say brilliant, but when I say that, their game against Nemo Rangers, it was a brilliant performance, 110 to 7 points. Never really massively in doubt. Did anything stick out to you particularly about either two games?
I thought the Kilcoo Ballyboden game was absolutely fascinating, I have to say. The second goal, actually, off the top of my head, I can't remember who got it, but there was a hand pass. A lad was soloing through, hand pass off the post, and it's like he was actually a wing back.
Was that the Jerome Johnson one or the Darrell Brannigan?
The second one, the Brannigan goal,
yeah.
sorry, yeah. And it was like a classic striker's poacher instincts. He was actually on the 21 when the ball was being hand passed, and he just burst in, and whatever way the ball bounced back off the post, he was just there and finished it. And to me, it looked like it was going to kill off the game. But Boden, as we said, they just don't really know how to quit like that. They really dig in, but they just shot themselves in the foot. There was a couple of bad wides. The Bascals had a couple of bad wides at crucial stages. I remember commenting, and my father said at one stage they were 2 down and they had a chance to score, and I think they missed that. And he was just kind of saying, it was just if they'd taken the 2 before that, they'd be a point up. And that was the kind of way. And as good as Kilcoo were, Ballyboden were still able to be there, and they'll have a lot of regrets because it was just wides at crucial stages that really hurt them.
If I was a Ballyboden man, I'd be very, very frustrated at the black cards for Aaron Waters and Michael Macaulay. I didn't think either of them were black cards. Now we know that Ballyboden sailed pretty close to the win on their best day, like that game against Nafina, what happened with Conor McHugh and being wrestled to the ground by Declan O'Mahony. Maybe there was a small bit of karma coming back here, but very, very harsh. I saw the likes of Ian Galvin, who was the manager of New York. He was tweeting about Michael Macaulay, that basically, every day he goes out and he's kind of niggling or getting stuck in, or a little bit of cynicism here or there, whatever thing he was trying to say on it. But I thought that Michael Dara was just trying to cut back when a guy checked inside him, and he was trying to make contact, but he ended up tripping him, not intentionally. But that's so costly to have a guy who. There's a couple of games that I saw Ballyboden playing this year. He had a first half, possibly in the semi-final, possibly against Jude's. He had a terrible first half, but second half, his power and athleticism allowed them to kick on. And not having him for the last, whatever it was, maybe 10 minutes or whatever it was, that's so costly to not have your big players out there.
Killer. The black card is an absolute killer at club level, particularly if you lose a lad like before half time or just after, or anything. Just even with crucial stages to come, it's a killer to be without your main man.
Yeah.
And the effort that they put in, particularly in his absence, and they could have gotten something out of the game. They definitely could have gotten something out of the game. But fair play to Kilcoo. Like we've mentioned, we've mentioned him ad nauseum now at this stage. But like Mickey Moran, it's unbelievable. Like he comes in there. They hadn't won an Ulster title. They're now in an All-Ireland final, and I'm sure he'll be kind of thinking. He'll never obviously say it. He won't say anything publicly, but. One of his biggest regrets would have been Schlockneil not winning the club final a couple of years ago against Crokes when the man sent off.
He set his team up to concede just the starting forwards of Ballyboden scored just 2 points from play.
Yeah.
And all the talk was Colin Basquel, Ryan Basquel, how do you stop them? There's other threats obviously, but the Basquels, it's been about them. And just 1 point from play, like Colin scored 3 frees, Ryan scored 4 frees and a point from play. How do you manage to set up a team to actually limit them so much?
It's savage, isn't it? And the kind of the tackling that was going in on both sides, obviously, but the Kilcoo tackling, and the turnovers that they were putting in, and the hits that they were getting in, was just it was phenomenal. It was great to watch, and yeah, it's going to be a really interesting final. They've been kind of underdogs most of the way through. Naomh Conaill, they were underdogs. They were underdogs the other day as well.
Like Borsley in the hurling side.
Yeah, kind of. Borsley have been underdogs nearly the whole way through. Yeah,
big time dogs the whole way.
Yeah.
And then, if we were to just jump over to the Corofin game against Nemo Rangers, and Corofin are obviously going for the All-Ireland 3 in a row, which hasn't been done at club level before, but they had 1-2 scored in the opening 8 minutes. Nemo didn't score at all for the first 20. It was pretty much game over early on, I felt.
I think Corofin had more scored after, definitely by half time, than the average of what Nemo had been conceding in every game so far this year.
But we talked about this, that Nemo in their previous 8 games, they'd averaged winning by 8 points. But who had they been playing really?
Yeah.
If you talk about the Munster campaign, Newcastle West gave them a good game, they won by a goal. they hammered Austin Stacks, who didn't win Kerry and had been sitting on the shelf for a couple of months, hammered them out the gate. Weren't that, like, beat Clonmel kind of comprehensively, but it's not like Clonmel are winning Munster every year. So you did kind of have to say, what is the quality of these wins, and have Nemo done enough since getting hammered by Corofin in the All-Ireland final of 2018 to think that they could overturn Corofin?
Yeah, no, fair point. And like, they were on the back foot after 30 seconds basically, and you're really chasing your tail. That's the one thing that they would have been saying beforehand: lads, just keep it tight early. Don't let this become this free-flowing game. And you just had this absolutely majestic pass from Gary Sykes inside. And funny enough, and this is a kind of a team with Nemo, they all also, as well as the great goals and the scores they have, there's also a couple of unbelievable moves that don't finish in points. Like Micheál Lundy and one of the Farrers had a chance as well to finish off an unbelievable free-throw move, but they create several of these. It's just the way they play. And it's just, I remember looking back on the goal after their opening goal inside 30 seconds, and you're just kind of thinking, I was looking at it and the clip was 20 seconds long, and I'm just thinking, they're in a position at midfield and you're thinking, how is this clip going to be 20 seconds long? How are they going to work the ball from here to the back of the net? And it's just a lovely ball inside, taking defenders away, and a lovely, like, I don't know what you call Gary Sykes, the kick he played in. It was almost like a reverse kind of left-footed kick inside over the defender. It was just class, yeah, and that just seems to be bred into them. Anytime talking to any of them, that's the way they want to play. That's the way they want all their underage teams to play. This free-flowing, kick-passing style. And we just mentioned about, like, we didn't actually mention about Conor Laverty and Ian Burke, like two pint-sized players, two really, really small players.
There's room for a magician.
No matter 100%. They've both been unbelievable. Ian Burke is kind of, he's not your stereotypical forward in the sense that a lot of the time he doesn't shoot the lights out. He's the one that gives, the killer little pass. He's the one that does the little
his
thing.
2 points that came within the space of a couple of minutes, one off the left foot, one off the right foot. Like, there was a few of us watching it out in the bar in Dalkey, and you were just cooing at it. Like, this lad is magic. Like, the step, like, he got one ball, ran at the defender and sort of just shimmied and stepped to the left, and your man had to go and take a taxi. He was, I mean, anyone would be absolutely done in that situation.
He should have saved the cooing for a Conor Laverty point, obviously, because Kilcoo,
Yeah,
but just something interesting.
I wouldn't be clever enough to think of that.
A couple of people said, just Eamon McGee said, the former Donegal star, fair play to Kilcoo.
And an Ulster champion last year. And played Corofin.
Lucky bastards get to play in Croker with their club. On a side note, any young forward who wants to make it can learn so much from Conor Laverty's movement and awareness. A joy to watch. And, like, a lot of it is movement. You make use of what best you have. He's small and he's elusive. And between him and Ian Burke, that's going to be a fascinating duel at opposite ends of the field in the final.
How much punishment must Conor Laverty have taken playing for Down in the Ulster Championship for the last 10 years? And obviously he's retired there the last couple of years and would still probably get on the team. There's probably no doubt of that. But just such a good player. There's part of me that thinks this is a dream final in the sense that they're both two footballing teams, Kilcoo and Corofin. The flip side is Corofin could hammer them.
Well, based on their 3 final appearances, definitely, yeah.
They were all double-digit wins.
Yeah, and they've all been over really, really early. We kind of talked in the weeks leading up to it about the turbulence, shall we say, that Corofin have had on this run, and how when they get to this stage, they seem to be at their best. They were at their best the other day. It's probably ominous for anyone playing them in 2 weeks' time that they just seem to be at the pitch that they've been at for all the other final appearances. Everyone will be, maybe the level of expectation, maybe people expecting another big performance will affect them, but nothing really seems to affect them.
Generally, teams are getting close, like in the Galway Club Championship, even Moorfield, the All-Ireland semi-final, albeit they were, Corofin were down to 14 men from pretty much the start of the game. But the wide open expanses of Croke Park, what should be a fairly fast pitch, if it's a still day also in on top of that, it's just going to allow them to play their magic football. Like, they've got athletes, they've got quality. Like, Dahi Burke's in there, imagine him pigging into you. Then you've got Kieran Malloy carrying the ball. You've got Gary Sykes, like you're saying, beautiful kick passer.
Team
Silk, like ridiculously
the Farrers, Ian Burke we were saying there as well. Bernard Powers kick-outs are class. Micheál Lundy. like they have it. Kieran Fitzgerald fullback, like just ageless basically. They kind of have it all. It's a serious outfit, yeah.
The RF Twitter account, he said Corofin were training Stevens morning, and there was me thinking I was doing well, bringing in 2 buckets of turf and letting the dog out for a piss. Well played, sir. Well played.
Yeah, that's already in contention for one of the tweets of the decade now already.
I think almost by default, any team who's in this position this year, while the calendar's like this, would have trained on Stevens morning, because, if I was a manager, I'd say, lads, go out and have a few Christmas Eve pints. Obviously, enjoy your Christmas Day, have a few glasses or whatever, and pig away. But after that, we'll run it out to you on Stevens Day. I think that would probably be like the default setup.
That's fair enough, yeah. I'd say that's fair enough. And to be honest with you, Corofin are in that position now where, it's not a first time thing. They're used to success, they're used to everything that comes with it. They're also cognizant of the fact that they're really close to history. They won't say that or anything like that, but they're conscious, and there'll be no one acting the bollocks, right? There would have been no one acting the bollocks to them over Christmas. It's a well-oiled machine at this stage.
Yeah, I honestly, and I know I said it last week about the idea of a 3 in a row, does it get into your head, is it talked of in the dressing room? I really don't think it is. It's probably, I don't even know if it's something that hits you straight away. I don't even know if there's a massive relevance. I mean, maybe the fans will bring it up and all that kind of stuff, or supporters, but you're just so used to being on the road and dealing with big games coming up. I just don't imagine that the occasion would ever overwhelm a team that has been there this often.
I tell you what it is, though. It's a ridiculous achievement if they do it. It's a ridiculous achievement. And we were going back through trying to find other teams. Had anyone been close? Portumna are obviously very close. We've talked in previous shows about. Obviously, they didn't have to play a provincial championship, so once they won Galway, they were 2 games away from it.
Which is a joke, obviously.
Yeah. And of course, we mentioned about Johnny Kelly being over Portumna. The last time a team was going for 3 in a row in Ireland, they were beaten by Ballyhale in 2010, and now they're meeting again, obviously, as well. But that's the closest anybody has come to getting 3 in a row, and Corofin are on the doorstep now.
Yeah, Shane Curran tweeted, as far as 6-point wins goes, this was a hammering by Corofin to Nemo. Not much learned from final defeat 2 years ago, or maybe Corofin are just too good. I just feel that Nemo aren't at the same level as Corofin. No,
I don't think anybody is. Yeah. And just what Shane said there about 6-point hammering as well. I listened to it on the radio and then watched it back after, and I just kind of listened to it on the radio. They just keep you at arm's length. They knew once they had that goal and an early couple of points got, they were 5 or 6 up. They're too street smart to relinquish a lead like that. They conceded 2 points by half time. They just have this thing where Paul Kerrigan was anonymous definitely in the first half anyway. Luke Connolly had a better second half. But these guys, they just have this way of being able to neutralise the opposition's best players. They target the opposition's best players, much like Kilcoo did with the 2 Bascals, in fairness. But they target the opposition players and they are invariably able to tie them down.
Do you think that part of that, though, is that, let's say Luke Connolly and Paul Kerrigan are expected to be the game winners, that if every other battle by their more ordinary players is being lost to superior players, because Corofin have so many high-level players, that they're never really going to get the ball on the front foot in space going forward. And I mean, and the same, if Paul Kerrigan and Luke Connolly are struggling to win their battles, the ordinary club player is going to struggle to actually get into the game. So it's all feeding each other.
You're chasing your tail. You're chasing your tail if you're the best player inside, you're having a battle, say Luke Connolly with Liam Silk, and then 2 or 3 lads outside you are in trouble. You're chasing your tail. But it's really interesting final. Much like the hurling final, all expectations will be on Corofin.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think offhand as well, like with Ballyhale and Corofin, it hasn't happened too often where you've had the champions. It hasn't happened that often where you have the champions from the football and the hurling back again the next year.
I saw someone tweeting about it. It's first time in somebody did tweet about this, and obviously I have the worst memory of all time, so I'm not going to remember. But it has happened before.
Has it happened? I wonder that the 2 of them have went on and won again the next year.
Yeah, I'm not sure if they've both won, but they've definitely both been back there. Conor Mortimer tweeted, "Great to see Corofin playing the game the way it should be played. Good long foot passing inside to the forwards run, and let the forwards finish the job." I mean, we have kind of talked about it, but it is glorious to watch.
Yeah, interesting we were chatting to Michael Farrer before Christmas. He plays inside in the full forward line for Corofin. Number one, he was very keen to stress that Kevin Walsh shouldn't have been blamed for the way that Galway played, given the success they brought and getting to an All-Ireland semi-final for the first time in a long time and getting to a league final. But there's 10 of those Corofin guys in around the Galway fold at the moment. And you could see him kind of beaming when he was talking about the way that Pádraig Joyce wants to play. And I think it's going to be more like that. Galway have obviously got a good bit of defensive nous now. They've played quite defensively for the last couple of years. Maybe now that they have some sort of defensive platform or shape in place, they'll try and play a more expensive style. Sounds like they're going to.
Yeah, I've always just thought they're lacking a couple of decent players in the back line. I think they've got all the forwards in the world, but maybe if you're like Silk will be in the back line, in the defence, you'd imagine Kieran Malloy will now be in it. So they should probably improve, because Kieran Malloy's progression has probably been stilted somewhat by being with the club so often, and that's not going to be too much of an issue.
Kieran Malloy is also in an interesting position, because he'll have that same quandary again. If NUAG progress in the Sigerson, he'll end up.
I spoke to him about this.
I think it's the same weekend again.
Yeah.
They obviously have to progress, and I think they've an awful draw. We'll probably look at the Sigerson again later in the week, but they've an awful draw in the first round, and we'll have to get over that first. But he's in that position again. I suppose you could say it's the price of success. It shouldn't be happening.
It'll be changed for next year, but obviously that's no good to him at the moment. I think Corofin would survive in Division 2 in the National Football League. I actually do think they're that good.
Yeah, they probably would, and kind of that's what people say now. They're that good that people just say, I think they're an inter-county team that would beat most other inter-county teams.
Is the romance in Corofin doing what hasn't been done before and getting the 3 in a row, or Kilcoo, the small parish with nothing only football and sheep, them winning All Ireland against the Head? Where is the romance in this?
It's good because there's romance on both sides. No more than the hurling side. Ballyhale, obviously, we go doing back to back, and Bursalee would be coming from the cold to win one. I think there's they're polarising stories, really, aren't they? In the hurling and the football, you have two of the most successful teams in hurling and football, and two teams, obviously Bursalee have won it before in '87. I don't think there's been a down team in a final in like 32 years or something I saw. So two different sides of the story. Probably the easier story from a journalist's point of view to tell is the underdog story. Yeah. But it's going to be an interesting couple of weeks for them.
I think the only reason that, like, normally I'd be going for the underdog, but because Corofin plays such beautiful football, it's hard to wish ill upon that.
No, it is. Yeah, they play a class style. It's not as if it's really attritional and hard on the eye, and it's like 8-6. It's like, you know, they're going to do some things that are just going to leave you with the jaw on the floor every game. Yeah.
Right. So please like and share the video, and if you haven't followed the video, if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. Thanks for watching our game. Don't forget to like and share the videos, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe.